All right, good people, what to do with it, man? Kid DC Wrestling back once again. We got a lot to talk about. Well, a lot going on this weekend as far as wrestling, man. We got Smackdown tonight, which I'm getting ready to get into. Evolution, Saturday night's main event, AEW All In, Great American Bash. That's what, four wrestling events taking place. And then obviously on top of that, you got Evolution, which counts as the fourth one. Obviously, Evolution is taking place Sunday night, and then Monday Night Raw the very next night. And if you follow up on NXT and AEW, so just a lot of wrestling going on, man. A lot of wrestling going on. But regardless of it all, starting with tonight's SmackDown, I mean, average show, typical average SmackDown. What I do want to get into first off, this whole thing with Jelly Roll, obviously. Now, a lot of people, were already talking about it before the segment even happened. It was already rumored that Jelly Roll was going to be involved with WWE wrestling wise, and as we saw tonight, segment wise, it is confirmed most definitely. Jelly Roll is going to be involved in SummerSlam, right? Most likely, I'm gonna go ahead and assume it's Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre versus Jelly Roll and Randy Orton. Now, obviously, well, not even obviously, but I'm not going to sit up here and go into this full length rant about why this is completely ridiculous and why this is so stupid. We've seen this so many times in wrestling. We've seen this in WWE, the involvement of celebrities. I mean, y'all, this goes back all the way back to the 1980s. They've been doing this since the first WrestleMania. Hell, the first WrestleMania main event was Hulk Hogan and Mr. T versus Paul Onderoff, may God rest his soul, and Roddy Piper. And I want to say Muhammad Ali was the special guest referee. So they've been doing this since the beginning of time. They're gonna keep doing this till the end of time. My only thing is when it comes to celebrities, obviously you overuse them, and then obviously you use them for the main event scene, like when they don't really need to be involved in the main event scene, like Travis Scott. Travis Scott obviously had no business being involved with the heel turn. He had no business being involved in the WrestleMania main event. He had no business being there whatsoever. Now, this is obviously different, at the end of the day, but just kind of getting things back on track. Obviously, this show we involved new tag team champions. The Wyatt Six have won the tag titles. It's actually the best match on the show, probably, against the former champions of Street Profits. It was a very good tag match. I was really into it. A lot of people were really into it. Nothing really more you could say about that. Street Profits had their run. Now it's the Wyatt Six run, so we'll obviously see what they do with it. Now, the Fatal 4-Way match, obviously, Roxanne, Sol Ruka, Alexa, and company were involved. Obviously, this is to build for the tag match at Evolution Sunday night. It was pretty solid, to say the least. I'm starting to like the pairing between Charlotte and Alexa. I'm not gonna sit up here and automatically say they're gonna win on Sunday. They might, but I'm not gonna flat out say they are. It's growing on me. And one thing about Charlotte, the main problem with Charlotte all this time is that, again, she has had little to no character development in all the years that she has been on the main roster. So who's to say this feud with Alexa might give her that? You know what I mean? Let Charlotte loose. Maybe let Charlotte be a little bit more of herself. Because on top of the fact that Charlotte's had little to no character development, every feud she's been in has been for the effing title. So you had that. Trish and Tiffany had their segment tonight. Tiffany's going over tomorrow on Sunday. Truthfully, it's just to get Tiffany over, just to get Tiffany another win under her belt. Truthfully, R-Truth took on Aleister Black. Obviously, they're as we saw the backstage wise, it was a quick match, but they're building something with Damian Priest and Aleister Black. Obviously, as we saw, wouldn't surprise me if they end up fighting at SummerSlam, Damian Priest, Aleister Black, which that might actually be a pretty match stealer. I'm not gonna lie to you if it's confirmed. And then the main segment of the night, Solo and his new faction called the MFT, him and JC Mateo taking on Jimmy Uso and LA Knight, which obviously LA Knight kicked off the show, and obviously we saw how the show ended. So that was really Smackdown tonight. There's really nothing more I can really get into it, but yeah, like I said, big weekend for wrestling, and we'll see what happens.